Hello guys, my name is Balkrishna Srivastava and welcome to Code with BK. So in this video, we write a Java program to read an array of characters input. So before we begin, it is a request to please subscribe to my channel because out of 100 views, only 2 to 3 are subscribed. More than 95% of my audience is not subscribed and a subscription is very important. So please do subscribe to my channel. So we have to read an array of characters input and we have 4 possible cases of input: case 1, case 2, case 3 and case 4. In the previous video, we covered these two cases. The first case where we have the number of characters and the characters in the next line, white space separated, input character cannot be a white space. We also saw a case where you're not given the number of characters, you're just given a line which contains white space separated characters and you have to figure out how to count the number of characters and then store those characters in the array. We saw that as well. Moving on to the third case where your input is one single line and input character can be a white space. So whatever characters you have input in the line, including the white space, are your valid input characters. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward, that you read this entire line as a string and then create an array by extracting each character of the string. Okay, so basically convert the characters of the string into an array. So what we can do is simply read an input line. Okay, create an array using the characters of this line. Okay, and in this case, change in line character cannot be your valid input. Okay, because we are using a next line. Okay, so there is an inbuilt function in the string class that converts the string to a character array. So you can say char array is line dot to char array. Okay, and we return char array. Okay, so we can use case 3, chars 3 3 3. Okay, my line of input is with one single line containing all the characters. White space is also character, so p space question mark rt 6 space 8 9. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 characters. Okay, once more. Okay, 10 characters. Okay, so this is 21 characters. Okay, doing this again, say 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0 a b c d, and this is 16 characters. Okay, all right, moving on to the last case where you are given the number of characters and then each character on a separate line. Since you are given the number of characters separately, we read it using the next int and create an array. Okay, so okay, and then we have each character in a separate line. So what we can do is we use next line to read these characters as strings on separate lines, and then we extract the first character using caret 0. First we use next line. Okay, so if we want to use next line, we will have to absorb this extra change in line after next int, because if the input is like this, okay, this is my input. When I do next int to read an integer, this 5 is read, but the change in line, because after entering 5 you press enter to move on to the next line, this change in line is also a part of the input. So when you do next line, this basically makes it an empty input line, because next line will look for the first change in line character. So you absorb this so that the next time next line is called, you read this, since there is a next line here. Then again for the next line you read this because there is a next line here. Again for the next you read this next line, the change in line character is here. For next line you read this change in line character is here. For next line you read this. Okay, all right, so I absorb this extra change in line, which I can copy from here. Okay, okay, then I need to run a loop n times, and in each iteration I read a string s as scanner dot next line. I can copy this. Okay, I get the char ch is s dot caret 0. Okay, and then I say char array, then I say char array of I is ch, return char array. Okay, all right, so let me just test this. 4 and 4 and Okay, running this code, I have 5 question mark p k r t. All right, and this next line will also make sure that I can enter a single white space. So if I have this, I have p question mark, I add a space, that is okay, r and t. So this space is read as an input because, okay, if I have 5p question mark, say a white space r and t, so next int is going to read this 5. There is a change in line after every character, okay, not for the last character. So the first next line that absorbs the change in line will read this, okay. The next line is going to read this, okay, because it looks for the next change in line character. Then the next line will read this. The next line will read this, even if it is a white space, because it looks for a change in line character. The next call to next line will read this, and then it reads this. So you get strings as p question mark space r space t. You do caret 0 on of all of these to get the character. Okay, if you use next, okay, if you use, this is using next line, if you use next, okay, using next, okay, so when you use next, you don't have to absorb this extra change in line, because next will ignore all white spaces till it finds a string. So all you have to do is run this loop n times, and you say this is going to be scanner dot next dot char at 0. That's it. Okay, return. So I have to move return char array. Okay. Okay, so when I run this 5 question mark p k r t, 5 characters. Let me do this again. Say 4 characters b a l I. Okay, b a l k r i s h n a, 10 characters. Okay, with next you cannot have a white space input. If you say 5 characters and you want a white space in between, say space, this is not gonna work, because it is still waiting for an input. Why? Because when you're using next and you have p question mark space r t, okay, next will ignore all white space till it finds a string. A string is any contiguous sequence of non-white space characters. In this case, it will find p question mark r and t, which are strings with only one character. So this is read by next int. Then you have change in line, 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 and no change in line for the last character. So next will ignore this white space, reads this. This is what you get. Then the next call of next, this is ignored and question mark is read. Okay. In the third call of next, this is a white space ignored. This is also white space ignored. This is also white space ignored. So it reads R. So since single space is a white space and next ignores all white spaces till it finds a string, so this single white space is ignored. Then when I do next again, so this white space is ignored, okay, and you get T. Okay, since I have 5 calls to next, I have only read 4 strings. That's why it's waiting for another input. So I say O, and now it works. So you see this white space is not allowed. Okay, all right. So you have to decide what kind of input that you have white space input or not, and based on that you decide if you want to use next line or next line. Okay, so this was the solution to this problem, and I hope this was helpful. So if there's any doubt, there's a part you don't understand, please let me know in the comments. I always try to answer all your comments, and you can also let me know in the comments if there's a question you want to solve or if there's a concept you want to discuss. So please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.